Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Friday, the 4th of August. Good to have you aboard. Presented, as always, by Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. It is a Friday show. We did it, everybody. We made it to the end of the week. We got a lot of fun stuff planned here today. Now, we're officially in a Dolphins game week. We got a preseason game next week now. Hall of Fame game last night. Browns-Jets, didn't watch a second of it. Last night, I was at Brad Williams, saw Brad Williams perform at the Miami Improv. Had a really good time, fun night. Brad Williams, as always, his opener, JB Ball, as always, the two of them, they killed it last night. Was able to go say hello to Brad before the game. Was able to meet him in person for the first time. If you missed my conversation with Brad, he made an appearance a couple weeks ago here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. You can always go back in the archives. You can listen to Brad coming on the show with me. I love when you guys do that. You go back, listen to past shows that you've never listened to. They're always available. Tell your friends, tell your family. However you listen to the show, they're always available if you missed something previously. So, got to hang out, got to see Brad Williams last night. Great time at the Miami Improv. Those guys over there, they always take care of the ZASLOWs. Love going out there. And Brad is continuing to perform. He's got 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. Doral, Miami Improv. You go check him out. I'm telling you, I've told you this before. I mean, it's among the best shows we have ever been to. He was awesome last night, as usual. So, I didn't see any of the preseason game. I didn't see any of Jets and Browns. Don't care. But my guess is it drew a monster number, man. And it's weird because if you take the NFL preseason game, NFL preseason, that game last night likely draws bigger numbers than some NBA playoff games. Certainly regular season game, regular season MLB, regular season NHL, NBA. Preseason football is going to kill it. But I would imagine preseason football gets better numbers than some NBA playoff games. I'm not watching a second of that game last night, even if I were home. I'm not interested in it. But man, maybe it has part to do with it's been forever since you watched football, so there's a curiosity factor. But this country loves football. I imagine Browns and Jets got a very big number last night. Like I said, I didn't see any of it, but it's Friday. We got a lot to get to here. That means we're going to do big game, not a big game. We're going to do big movie, not a big movie. And here's the best part about that. This weekend, yeah, we got a handful of games for big game, not a big game. But now, after this weekend, football is officially back. We got a lot of games to talk about. Big game, not a big game. Next week will be full of preseason football. It's going to be lit. So now we have football every single week from now, because it started last night, every single week through the middle of February. We're almost here. Preseason is back. And obviously, October, we're at the beginning of August. October, best sports month. We're really close because you got the NFL, you got the college football, then you're going to have the NHL getting going again, you're going to have the NBA getting going again, you're going to have the Major League Baseball playoffs. October, 6 sports month. So we're getting close. We're almost there. The big news of the day, not really news, but our main focus today, Zach Thomas is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame tomorrow afternoon in Canton. Our guy, Seth Levitt, you hear him on the Miami Dolphins postgame show, which is now on iHeart. He does it with Travis Wingfield, OJ McDuffie. Seth, he's going to join us on the show today because here's the thing. Obviously, Seth's on the media side of things. Now, he's got the Fish Tank podcast that he does with OJ McDuffie. We'll talk about that as well. But he anchors the postgame show with those two guys. But here's the thing. He used to be on the PR staff for the Miami Dolphins. He was on the PR staff for the Miami Dolphins when Zach Thomas was on the team. So we'll see if we can get some behind the scenes. We'll see if we can get some cool stories about Zach Thomas and his time here with the Dolphins and Seth's time working for the Dolphins with Zach Thomas. So that's the main attraction today. Seth will join us on the show here. We'll talk about this upcoming season for the Dolphins, but for the most part, I want to talk about Zach Thomas and his experience around one of the greatest Miami Dolphins of all time, who is so deserving of going into the Hall of Fame tomorrow. And I've been on this for years. I'm not going to say that I started anything, because that's ridiculous, but I was talking about this in the evenings on ZASLOW Show. I was talking about it in the mornings on Zaslow and Amber, Zaslow and Joy, whatever. I've been talking about Zach Thomas in the Hall of Fame forever. And now, and the thing that was most annoying, like I didn't think it was a surefire Hall of Famer, not by any stretch. I'm trying to be unbiased about it. Like I'm trying to be fair. But the thing that really bothered me was when Urlacher got in first ballot. Zach Thomas, the numbers are better. Yes, Urlacher has the defensive MVP, and that's a big deal, winning defensive MVP. But that's not the be-all, end-all. Zach Thomas was just as good, if not better, than Urlacher. Yes, Urlacher's main thing, speed. He was so fast from sideline to sideline. But you had guys like Peyton Manning. When Peyton Manning tells you Zach Thomas is the smartest player he's ever played against, Urlacher gets in Hall of Fame first ballot. Zach Thomas can't sniff a Hall of Fame induction? That was wrong. And so finally, this year, after being a finalist 2 or 3 times, right? Finally, Zach Thomas is going in tomorrow. I believe he's the first one. I talked about this earlier in the week, right? I believe he's the first one going in tomorrow, and that's money for the Dolphin fan. You don't want to watch the whole thing waiting for Zach Thomas. He's going first. You're going to have everybody's attention tomorrow afternoon. Canton, Zach Thomas, Hall of Famer for life. So that's the big story today. That's our main focus. I got some other things here, all right? And we're going to get to big game, not a big game before we get to Seth, and then we're going to keep this train rolling. So let's give a little update as far as what's going on with the Heat, as far as what's going on with Damian Lillard. There's no real update. Now, yesterday I told you how, yesterday I did a lot yesterday on the Heat and Damian Lillard because I'm annoyed with the way some people in the media, national media, are directing their, displeasure, anger with this current situation at the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have done nothing wrong. There should be nothing directed at the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat don't owe the Blazers anything. The Miami Heat don't have to up their offer. The Miami Heat don't have to hurt. The Miami Heat can give up whoever the hell they want, or they could stand pat. But the thing is, and you saw that report from Windhorst has the impression that no one else is out there making any type of offer to the Blazers, and the Heat know it. And if that's the case, the Heat don't have a problem. The Blazers have a problem. The Heat are willing to bail the Blazers out. We're going to give you a bunch of draft picks. We'll probably even give you a couple of young players, and then you can move on with your rebuild. But if you don't want to do that, okay, we're going to keep it moving here. And you have a very, disgruntled superstar. The Miami Heat don't have to do shit. The Blazers are the ones with the problem, not the Heat. But here's what I want to address real quick about. So, by the way, on Twitter, I'm not calling it X. On Twitter, I'm at ZASLOW Show. You can always hit me up. But on Twitter, our guy Drew. I think he's at Drew Star. This dude is doing the Lord's work on Twitter, where he is aggregating, he's putting quotes and video clips from all kinds of podcasts, national podcasts, and also podcasts coming out of Portland, keeping everybody up to speed on what's going on with Damian Lillard. My man Drew is doing the Lord's work out there, keeping us all informed. And so he posted a clip yesterday, and it's from one of the podcasts out up there in Portland. And this is not the only place that I've heard this, but I specifically heard it yesterday on the clip that Drew posted on Twitter. And it's something to the effect of, as far as what the Heat could be offering, which who the hell knows what they're offering? Have the Heat offered this, or do we believe that? Or do we believe that the Portland Trailblazers have not even sat down and had any kind of discussions with the Miami Heat? Because if that's the case, how did the Heat offer anything? Nobody has the straight story. No one does. But anyway, so I've heard this comment before, including yesterday. How, the Heat, let's say they're offering 3 first-round picks. Tyler Hero, a couple young guys. Okay. And you get this comment. The picks from the Heat aren't going to be that good. It's like, who cares? Or I'm not sold on the Heat's offer because the first-round picks that the Heat offer, they're not going to be that good. They're going to be in the 20s. And the pick swaps, if the picks aren't going to be that good, the Blazers aren't going to be able to swap those picks because the Blazer pick is going to be better. Let me start right there. I've been saying that for years. And I specifically said it when James Harden was originally traded. I maybe even talked about it with the Anthony Davis trade way back when he was traded from New Orleans to Los Angeles. But I definitely talked about it most recently when Harden was traded from Houston to Brooklyn, and they got all the picks, and they got all the pick swaps, and this way the general manager gets to say, we got 7 picks. 4 of them are first-round picks, and 3 of them are pick swaps. And that's phony baloney. That's BS. Those pick swaps, there is a pretty great chance they're never going to convey. Because here's the thing. And now, the pick swaps have become a thing just for general managers to point at and say, look at all the picks I got. Look at what a great job I did in this trade. I got all these draft picks. When the reality is, those pick swaps, you're never going to be able to cash in. Because here's the thing. Let's say the Heat, because the Heat right now can only, and now they can lift the protection on the pick with the Blazers in 2025. So let's assume that they do that, right? Let's assume that. So the Heat would be able to offer up picks in 25. If they loosen that protection, that conveys to Oklahoma City in 25. So the Heat would be able to offer first round pick 27, 29. You'd also be able to do pick swaps 26 and 28. So we're talking at least 4 overall picks. You could also offer the pick swap in 24. So like swaps in 24, 26, 28, first round picks 27, 29. Maybe you also flip Tyler Hero somewhere else for a first round pick and ends up being 3 firsts and 3 pick swaps. Those pick swaps are never going to convey. That's just going to be a thing for Joe Cronin and the Blazers to be able to say, we got 6 first-round picks from the Heat. No, you didn't. Because next year in 24, the Heat are probably going to be really good. Their pick will be in the 20s. The Blazers are going to be shit. They'll be a lottery pick. You're not going to be able to swap that. Or you can, but you wouldn't because the Blazers are going to have a high pick. So the pick swaps being bullshit and never conveying, that's legit. That's a real thing. The pick swaps are so phony baloney. But let's talk about the picks that the Heat will actually send. And this idea that the picks from the Heat, they're not going to be that good anyway. They're going to be in the 20s. Those aren't going to be great first-round picks. So this is not impressive. What team could you possibly trade Damian Lillard to where the picks are not going to be in the 20s? Where the picks are going to be great? Like, who can you trade Damian Lillard to where you're going to end up getting lottery picks in return? I mean, whoever you wind up trading Damian Lillard to, and you would imagine at least for the next 4 years that Damian Lillard is under contract, you would imagine that this team is going to be good. So those picks are going to be in the 20s. The only way the picks that you get in the Lillard trade are going to be good is if you trade him to a shitburger team. And that's not happening. You're not trading Lillard to Detroit. You're not trading him to pick any bad team. I mean, I'll tip my tongue. I'm having a hard time thinking of whoever. Detroit's always one that you think about. It could be San Antonio. Whoever the hell. Whatever bad team you're thinking about, it's not like that team's trading for Damian Lillard. Whatever first-round picks you get back in the Lillard trade if you're Portland, they're not going to be high picks. They're going to be in the 20s. So you can be as unimpressed as you want about all the picks that the Miami Heat or whatever other team is going. Let's say Lillard was sent to Philadelphia. Let's say he was sent to Boston. Whatever else. Those picks are not going to be good. Any team you send your star player, Damian Lillard, to, those first-round picks are going to be late in the first round. So this idea that the picks from the Heat aren't going to be that good, you're not going to get great first-round picks from anyone. Wake up. Now, here's the next part. If the Heat are giving up picks, let's say 27 and 29 or 28 and 30, you can only trade as far as 7 years down the road, so we're talking 2030. The picks in 27 and in 29. 27, we're talking 4 years from now. 29, we're talking 6 years from now. The reality is, those could wind up being really good picks. I can tell you right now, in 2029, Jimmy Butler and Damian Lillard are not going to be around anymore. The Heat may be flat awful. And who knows, maybe that'll be the case for 27 as well. I mean, 24, 25, 26, 27. That would be the 4th and final year of this contract for Damian Lillard. Maybe the Heat are terrible. Maybe Lillard has dropped off by then. So the picks in year 27 and 29, they actually may end up being really great picks for the Blazers. But the idea that the picks from the Heat aren't going to be that good, they're not going to be good from any team that you trade Damian Lillard to. Any team you trade Damian Lillard to is going to be a good team. The picks are going to be low in the first round. It's just, I guess the overall point that I'm making is there is a major bias toward the Heat. Not from the league, but from NBA media and from fans. The picks from the Heat, they're not going to be that good. They're not going to be good from anyone. You're trading Lillard to a team that's going to wind up being really, really good. What team is going to give you first-round picks that are going to be lottery picks? If Damian Lillard was traded to a team that's going to end up being in the lottery, and hence you get great picks, why would that team trade for Damian Lillard if it's going to still make them a lottery team? So the point is, you got people out there, media folks, who are just trying to come up with reasons that trading Damian Lillard to Miami is not good, is not beneficial to the Blazers, when the reality of it is, this would be the scenario, low first-round picks with any team you wind up trading him to. But a very biased media doesn't want to hear about that. Or wants to spread that to everybody, that this is why the Miami offer is no good. It's bullshit. So that's today's bullshit as far as the way this situation is being handled by certain media members. That's today's bullshit. I'll tell you what's not bullshit, though. I love Sheets and Giggles, man. Sheets and Giggles has me getting the best sleep I've ever had. My wife, my two boys, we are 4 of over 100,000 Americans now that are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles and never turning back. If that's the case, ask yourself this. If over 100,000 Americans now are sleeping on and shopping sheetsgiggles.com, clearly there's something going on there. And when Sheets and Giggles joined ZASLOW Show 2.0, my man Colin, founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles, you hear them on the Levitard Show, you hear them on the Greg Cody Show podcast featuring Greg Cody. That's how you knew that things were at the big time now on ZASLOW Show 2.0, when my man Colin and Sheets and Giggles joined up on the show and brought his naturally softer, cooler, more breathable sheets to the program. And now I'm sending it to you guys. Use promo code ZASLOW upon checkout. You'll get 20% off your first order, and we're talking taking care of the environment as well. That's right, because they don't touch any ancient or endangered forests. You got 2 new trees that are planted on their farms every time one is harvested. That's where it's eucalyptus. I sleep on a eucalyptus pillow. You got the pillowcases, you got the sheets, you got the fitted sheet. Best comforter I've ever had in my life. I'm getting sleep like I've never had. Sheetsgiggles.com. You don't have to thank me. You thank my man Colin, but get the best sleep of your life when you go to sheetsgiggles.com. All right. It is Friday, and you're probably saying to yourself, ZASLOW, I gotta know. Is it a big game? Or is it not a big game? Big game or not a big game, as always on Fridays, brought to us by the only insurance agency that I recommend. That's Brunt Insurance. Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com. I just renewed my policy for this coming year. I've been getting my homeowner's insurance through Brunt Insurance now for about 10 years. And that's because I know I'm getting the best price out there. Hey, homeowner's insurance is so expensive here in Florida. Not when you're using Brunt Insurance. You're getting the best rate out there, and you're getting the most comprehensive coverage that there is. And not just homeowner's insurance. That's what I get with Brunt Insurance. But when you call 954-589-2204, you're getting the most affordable care and the best coverage also on your automobile, motorcycle, boater's insurance. You're making the right call when you call 954-589-2204. Greg Brunt and his team at Brunt Insurance have the expertise and the experience to find the right coverage for you. And that includes comprehensive policies on trailer homes, motorhomes. You know what I'm talking about. Bruntinsurance.com has you covered all through the state of Florida, wherever you're calling from. 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com. Let's get to big game or not a big game. First up, tonight, 8:05, Bally Sports, Florida. Marlins at Rangers. The Rangers are the cream of the crop out there. not the cream of the crop. They're the cream of the crop out there in the American League. The Marlins, they got Jesus Luzardo on the hill tonight, but coming off of losing 3 out of 4 to Philadelphia, this is the toughest part of the schedule. This is a make or break stretch. The Marlins are on the outside of the wild card looking in right now. They're a game back of the 2nd and 3rd spots. Kim Ng did a great job getting this team guys like Josh Bell, Jake Berger, and putting this team in a position where, hey, we believe in you. Now you got to go do it. Now they've let them down so far. They just lost 3 out of 4 against the Phillies, and since the All-Star break, the Marlins have lost 13 of 18. Very tough task ahead beginning tonight. Marlins at Rangers, that's a big game. Big game or not a big game? Saturday night, Peacock, WWE SummerSlam. Now, make sure you go back and listen to ZASLOW Show 2.0's wrestling podcast. It's still real to me. It dropped 2 nights ago. It's a SummerSlam preview. So you have between now, if you haven't listened to it yet, you have between now and tomorrow night. A bonus episode is available of It's Still Real to Me. SummerSlam, 8 matches on the card, a fire card, and the main event, one of several main events, but the main event, Tribal Combat, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso. Does Jey Uso become the Tribal Chief? Does Roman Reigns survive and continue as the WWE Universal Champion? WWE SummerSlam, live from Ford Field in Detroit Saturday night. That's a big game. Big game or not a big game? Saturday, 8 p.m. TNT, AEW Collision. Now, the main event's a big one. It's CM Punk, and he's defending his, what he believes is the real world championship against Ricky Starks. This is not a big deal. What was that, though? Not a big deal? You've been telling us AEW Collision's a great show. It is a great show. It's going head-to-head with SummerSlam. No one's going to be watching Collision this week. Terrible break for Collision, even though it's a great main event. This weekend, AEW Collision, not a big game. Big game or not a big game? Sunday, 5 a.m. That's right, 5 a.m. Fox. U.S. Women's National Team World Cup round of 16 knockout round taking on Sweden. If those girls play against Sweden the way they played in match play, they're going home this weekend. If they get a huge win over Sweden and advance to the quarterfinals, all that talk about group play is going to go away. Sweden versus USA, Sunday, 5 a.m. That's a big game. All right, I got one more for you here. Sunday, the time has not been announced yet. Apple Plus, Leagues Cup quarterfinal, round of 16. Excuse me, that's not quarterfinal. That's just round of 16. Inter Miami at Dallas FC. 3-0 with Messi, greatest soccer player in the history of mankind. First road game. Inter Miami won all 3 of their games so far in the Leagues Cup at Dry Pig Stadium. How does Messi look on the road? And the way this team is playing, I think the expectations now are go win that Leagues Cup. Inter Miami at Dallas FC. That's a big game. And that right there is another edition of Big Game or Not a Big Game, always brought to us by Brunt Insurance. From Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, Brunt Insurance delivers you that comprehensive insurance coverage. 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com.